up, fight fans? This is Kurt DeVille with Counterpunched Boxing News, and I have some more news concerning Andy Ruiz, David Benavidez, Volume 2. Now, here we go. It was more. I did the first volume, okay, of David Benavidez being called out by Andy Ruiz, but I didn't really say. I said enough, but I didn't say what I wanted to say. Okay, listen. Calling out David Benavidez, a guy that's not even really been proven at 175 wholeheartedly. Why would you call him to heavyweight? That's absurd. Okay, because when you have a guy that has fought a good fight, he fought a good fight against Volsnik, but he couldn't drop Volsnik. He might have hurt him a couple times with some good shots, but he didn't hurt him to the point of, meaning him bend the knee.
This war has already wiped one great house from the world. Don't let it happen again. Bend the knee.
Those type of things. But I couldn't even understand Andy calling him out after he's done what he could do. Beat Bivol or beat Beterbiev. You know what I mean? And then fight Jaya Pataya. You know what I mean? It would be different if he's progressed to that point. But if he hasn't progressed to that point, why call him out? I don't understand Andy with what he's doing, because what he's doing is he's making himself that much irrelevant. Okay? Because people are talking about Andy now. Because, you haven't fought, you fight two old guys. And then you pull some Gervonta Tank Davis stuff, even more so, because Davis was at least bringing people from 126, and he was at 130, you know what I mean, or 135, and they'll meet at 130, those type of things. At least he was doing that. Andy's making somebody that just came from 168 to 205 pounds. Do you understand the weight difference of that? You know what I mean? It's retarded. Of all this, the heavyweight division is booming. There's people to be beat. There's people that got beat, but it's people to meet. Bars. It's a lot of people that Andy could fight. He could fight a lot of people up there. I just ain't, that's the top of my head. It's a lot of people that I forgot about. How about Caballo? How about take out one of these guys that nobody wants to fight? How about take out one of these guys that's winning, currently winners, back-to-back winners in this Days of Reckoning in Riyadh season? You want to get the attention of Turki Al-Sheikh. First of all, you got to beat Jarrell Miller. But after that, calling out David Benavidez, he has nothing to do with that over there yet. Okay, because Turki Al-Sheikh has been in contact with a lot of people. A lot of people. And he's reaching out to people as well, and then he's putting this, hey, David Benavidez and Artur Beterbiev versus Dmitry Bivol winner, on that platform that we need, with that money to proceed, right? So I think that David has his own battles, and why would you want to put yourself in a category with a fighter that you don't belong? You know what I mean? He doesn't belong in that category with David Benavidez, and even to compare them to is laughable. It's just laughable, because Andy, hasn't, I got to get the ring rust off, give me the opportunity. Like, look. I think is how he worded it. Okay. Andy, to give Andy the benefit of the doubt, you could say, well, he's open to a fight if he was ever to come to heavyweight. Not saying, hey, I want an opportunity to come in for him. Give me the opportunity. I'm open to fighting David Benavidez. You shouldn't even mention that. You know what I mean? Because, see, the fact of the matter is he mentioned David Benavidez. They weren't talking about David Benavidez. He mentioned David Benavidez. So that's a call out. You called this man out. A man that just came from 168 to 175. A man that didn't even know if he was going to stay at 175. You know what I mean? Because he was straddling the fence between 168 and 175. And I think he got that mindset because of how that fight went with Volsnik. It was like, okay, this power that I have ain't as significant at 175 if it was at 168. Okay, so he's, a lot of things are going through his head and his camp and his dad and, everybody just trying to put things in perspective. Like, hey, what should you do, David? What should you really do? Should you stay or should you fold? Okay, so, I think that was important to David Benavidez, but as far as Andy Ruiz calling him out, it's still just kind of like out of nowhere. You know what I mean? Like, it would be different if the heavyweight division was just so dead, ghost town. You know what I mean? Tumbleweeds rolling across, the way. And there was nobody there. You know what I mean? Like how people perceive the heavyweight division to be in the Klitschko era, where it was just like nobody was really there, and what it is just to speak on that lightly, shortly, that there wasn't superstars in the sport. That was the problem. David Haye wasn't a superstar. Tony Bellew wasn't a superstar. They were good local fighters and they had made a good name from where they were from, but they weren't superstars. And that was the problem. They needed a superstar in the business. Tyson Fury had the charisma, but, mindset and drugs and stuff took him out of the, possibility of being a superstar at the time when he beat Vladimir Klitschko. So I think if anything, that was the problem. But back to the current discussion, back on track. Andy Ruiz has to understand that who he calls out, what he does in the sport, says a lot about you, or at least your intentions. You know what I mean? So a lot of people can talk, but we don't really know if they can walk. We don't know what they're going to do, honestly. We don't know if that's the point or the case where you're dealing with something that you really want to do, or you're just talking for cap or clout. So, when you hear that bell go ding, ding, the fight's on. Anything else besides that doesn't really mean much, especially in boxing, because it's forever changing. You got fights that are set to fight. Someone gets injured, someone pulls out, someone does a lot of things of that magnitude. So boxing is not, as concrete as we think it is. You know what I mean? It gets only concrete when those guys start throwing that leather, But Andy Ruiz shouldn't call out anything, because who you call out is your intentions, and in your intentions is signifies what you want to do. You know what I mean? And then you have to actually do it to make it count. Screw what you wanted to do or wish you could do or all this stuff. You have to really do it. So when he calls out David Benavidez, a guy that just left 168, that's not a good sign at all for Andy. It just shows you that he's desperate too. You know what I mean? Like it's not really honorable. It was a bad play for Andy Ruiz, because a lot of people are going to be like, hey, well, what about me, fella? When you're going to fight me? You have a lot of guys that he could fight, even Jermaine Franklin would be a good fight with Andy Ruiz. That would be a very good fight. Jermaine Franklin and Andy Ruiz, both about the same height, short, sturdy, durable fighters. You know what I mean? And the idea that he's not calling any of these guys out, especially at the point right now he's in the point right now where he's trying to knock off some ring rust, obviously, but he's always trying to knock off ring rust. This man has accumulated dividend rust. You know what I mean? Because, you said that the last fight, because you ain't been fighting anybody lately. So it's rust after more rust. You need a lot of rust knock off of you. You need some WD-40. The rust that he has accumulated, because this guy is diabolical. You know what I mean? Because he don't fight enough. Then you got to understand, you got to make, like, what are you doing? What are you really doing every day? Besides spending that AJ money, if he still has any of it. Because, if he did call out $20 million, and I'm going to talk about that for a minute. The $20 million that he called out, of Tyson Fury, he says that's a lie. If that's a lie, okay, in closing, well, why hasn't he said what he asked for? Counterpunch. But yeah, Andy needs to really get this together and really be serious about the sport, for he further goes down this rabbit hole that he doesn't want to end up in. Because where that goes is nowhere nice. But you guys tell me what you think about this continuation of Andy Ruiz calling out David Benavidez. Of course, please subscribe. And you guys been Counterpunch. Peace.